Hello and welcome to the SNS podcast. I'm Aaron Abelov, and alongside me I have Andrew from Radio PlayStation.
What's up?
Today we're going to be talking about pre-E3 talking predictions. So, as you know, E3 being the biggest out of all the game conferences and displays and whatnot. So we'll talk about that. We'll talk about some other games that are coming out and have just come out, and hopefully wrap it up with some more talking.
Sounds good.
Or what? I don't know what we're doing. We're
Well,
just going off the
talking
fly
on a
here.
podcast is usually a
We're
good
talking.
idea.
People said they could join, and then stuff happened. And Brian's not with us today. He's somewhere, some party, but we can do it without him, I think. But all right, so we'll get into the predictions part of it. If you want to, well, for those of you who don't know what E3 is, um, that is the Electronic Entertainment Expo, and it's called E3 because there's three E's: Electronic Entertainment Expo. And it's the biggest. Is it the biggest, or is? Yeah, I think it's the biggest in the United States. I think, right? The biggest game conference.
I mean, PAX as a whole may have more attendees because
Yeah,
they have PAX East and PAX Prime,
right.
but in terms of exhibitors who go there, E3 is more powerful a situation because that's where everything new is released. Like PAX East, you go to play games
Right.
and,
It's more.
and
It's more.
potentially see new games, but
Right. PAX East is more gamer friendly, whereas E3 is for the media.
yeah, exactly.
Um,
Yeah,
so
for those wondering, you cannot buy a ticket to E3. If you could, well, you can. It's $1,000 for the pass, but you actually have to be, unless you're connected with media, you have to be like in the gaming industry. Like they actually like check your references. So even if you happen to be like wealthy enough to afford a ticket, you actually do have to have
is
some
it
part
really
in it.
that much?
Yeah, they really do check. I mean, even for PAX media badges, they like we discussed earlier off
Yeah.
topic, but they want to verify that you're actually legitimately in the gaming industry. And I mean, it's nice that they do that because it keeps the convention kind of
Right.
efficient. You know, there aren't going to be a bunch of kids running around saying, "Oh my God, I want to play the new PS4." Like there's, you've got people who are developing products, developing accessories, cases, games, something that relates to the industry. So you've just got a nice collaborative environment.
Yeah. I don't. I didn't know the tickets were that much actually.
Yeah, it's like I think I want to say it's like literally like $999 for the pass for all of the
No
days.
way.
Yeah,
Really?
I think when you're media though, like you don't have to pay.
No, it's
I
not. It's not that much. I don't think.
I'll look it up right now, but I'm
All
I'm
right. I don't. I thought it was because like a friend of mine went, and he's not overly rich or rich at all. But we'll get off topic a lot.
agreed.
um, so while he's looking up prices, I guess we can sort of talk about what to expect. Um, let's see. Nintendo is hosting their Nintendo Direct.
I found it.
Oh, okay.
All right, so here I'll just read. This is from the FAQ from the E3 website. E3 is E3, the question is E3 2013 open to the general public? E3 is a professional trade event and is not open to the general public. Individuals who are not able to document their direct and current professional affiliation to the interactive entertainment industry are not qualified to attend. Second question, what is the cost to attend E3 2013? And there's two passes. There's the Expo Pass and an Industry Pass. They're both 3-day show floor passes. If you get an Industry Pass, it is free. If you get an Expo Pass, it is $7.95, but it is $9.95 if you registered after April 29th. Industry Pass is available to qualified interactive entertainment industry professionals only. 2 forms of industry ID must be provided. So, there you have it, folks.
So how much was that? I wasn't even paying attention.
$7.95 if you registered before April 29th. But
Oh my
after
god.
that, it's $9.95 for the 3 days. Which, I mean, if you compare it to the costs of other conventions, I'm sure other conventions are probably equally as expensive. Like doctors' conventions, I'm sure are a fortune. But
Oh yeah.
doctors make a lot of money, so
Yeah.
uh,
Yeah.
I'm in the screen printing industry. The conventions are fairly inexpensive.
Yeah. I mean, PAX East when I went, it wasn't too bad.
Yeah, I mean PAX East, the 3 day pass is like $100 basically.
Yeah, and it's totally worth it if you haven't been there and you can
Even
get
if you
if you can
bought the
get there.
passes individually, it's still worth it. So,
Yeah,
but look,
it's one of the best. I had a blast.
yeah, it's the E3 for people who aren't in the gaming
Yeah,
industry but want to be, you know,
right.
here
But
to
just want to. It's
first test it.
great.
Yeah, like I went. We both were at PAX East. I got to play The Last of Us 3 times. Each day, I got to play the game, and then I spent like a half an hour talking with the developers and the community managers with Naughty Dog and PlayStation
Yeah,
about the game. Like, yes, that would probably exist at E3, but I can't get to E3. But I got to have a similar experience at PAX East.
yeah,
So, but that's an aside.
yeah,
E3
yeah,
is pretty cool.
yeah. And we're trying to get another person in here at the moment, but he's having issues with he's trying to do it on his iPhone, and it's not really working out. But so we'll get into the E3 talk itself. Do you want to go first, or do you want me to go first?
I mean, what are we starting with? Are we
I,
starting with a console or just general like
let's
thoughts?
start with game predictions. What you think we'll see unveiled, and whatnot.
Okay.
Um, I mean, if you
Uh,
want,
well, I mean, like I said, I'm from Radio PlayStation, so, and I mean, I don't really. My brother has an Xbox, but I've never really followed Microsoft, so
mhm.
I'll tell you what I think in terms of PlayStation. I think we will definitely see Little Big Planet 3.
I agree.
Media Molecule has already said they have a big secret that they're waiting to announce, and since we already know Tearaway's release date is in October,
Hmm.
I doubt we will see anything really groundbreaking about Tearaway aside from maybe being able to physically play the game at E3. And I know that only because the one of the community managers has actually brought the game to be like demoed in certain places.
Hmm.
They're in the UK. Media Molecule is out of the UK, but
Right.
he was somewhere with the game actually letting people try it. So we know that the game exists in a state that's playable on the Vita. So my guess is you'll be able to play it at E3 if you're attending. But
Hmm.
since that's already out of the bag, and the only other thing that people want is Little Big Planet 3. So I imagine Little Big Planet 3 will be one of the big releases. Naughty Dog, you know, I really hope there's an Uncharted 4, and there have been some leaked photos that kind of look
Yeah,
photoshopped,
they
kind of
don't.
look
Yeah,
serious, that have like the Uncharted thing with 4 next to it. And you know what? It could be totally true. It could be totally false. I would be psyched, and I kind of hope that they'll announce that
yeah,
Uncharted 4 is in development. I doubt that it's ready. I doubt that
yeah,
it'll be ready for launch, given that The Last of Us was pushed back, and people will say, "Oh, Naughty Dog has 2 teams." I don't think that the teams worked completely individual. Um, when they had to push back The Last of Us, my guess is because The Last of Us would have had a closer release date than Uncharted 4 would have. If there was a team
mhm,
working on Uncharted 4, they had to stop and work on The Last of Us.
yeah.
I mean, that's just me thinking from an
But
efficiency standpoint. I don't know.
right, they were able to push out The Last of Us in what was it, 3 years?
Pretty much, but they
Yeah,
had to delay it like a few months. But even when I talked to them at PAX East, they said they're like, we have a responsibility to release quality games rather than release a game and then have to patch it. He's like, so did we want to push the game back? He was like, absolutely not. He's like, we're not about that. He's like, but we
yeah,
knew
and that was their
we
first push.
wouldn't be doing ourselves a favor, and we wouldn't be doing the gamers a favor if we released a game we weren't 100% finished with. So they're like, so yeah, this is the first time like we've ever had to push a game back, but it
Mhm.
was the smart move. So
Yeah, and I totally I see. Here's the thing, I think Naughty Dog is. I think I hate to say it, but I think they're done with Uncharted. I really just because they after Uncharted 3, there was no talk of hey, stay tuned for another. There was nothing that hinted it. They haven't hinted it yet.
Mm.
They made The Last of Us, and I feel that they're done. I feel that they're I what I think is they're gonna say, hey, listen, not at E3, but eventually they'll say, hey, listen, The Last of Us is so good, we're gonna make a sequel.
Well, they've already said that they're going to make single player campaign DLC for The Last of Us,
Right.
which is an interesting concept. Even though like other games have single player DLC campaigns, but given the content and the story of The Last of Us, it seems kind of weird to do it. But they, in more than one review article thing that I've read published by Naughty Dog, they refer to The Last of Us as a series, which
Exactly.
is kind of a weird thing to call a single game that hasn't even come out yet a part of like a series and classify it as something that exists as more than one entity. So it's very possible The Last of Us could have sequels. I don't. I mean, obviously, I don't know how it would work.
Right.
Is it because we don't know the end of the game? So depending on what happens, because I have my own opinions, and I'm not going to spoil anybody and tell you what I think happens at the game. At the end of the game, but I do have my own opinions based on what I think the game, could totally exist in a secondary series. It would just, but you could also look at it as Uncharted is a game that could exist 10 times over because there is a timeline that exists between the games, but it's almost the same way that like a lot of TV shows like The Simpsons, none of the characters really age. It's just like a different day in the life. So each adventure Nathan Drake has could be just, one new adventure, as if the other adventures either did influence his past or his future. You could, maybe he travels a lot everywhere, every few weeks and does these adventures, which could make Uncharted 4, 5, 6, whatever,
Right.
Uncharted 0 will go back in time. So I don't know. I mean, I would love Uncharted 4. I don't think it would make me buy a PS4 on the spot. But I mean, and I'm not even a Little Big Planet fan. Like I'm nothing against the game. I
Right.
got into it so far after everybody else was
I
already
haven't
kind of
gotten
done
into
with it. So
Yeah, I mean, I played a little bit of karting, but that's not.
I
That's
played the
not.
beta.
Yeah, and it was okay. It was nothing special. But I mean, do you have any more predictions, or is that what you wanted to say?
I've been talking with a lot of people, and it's not a prediction that I think will happen, but Kingdom Hearts 3, everybody wants it, and I agree, everybody should want it. Like, that would be awesome. It would be a good thing to combat people's resistance to want to spend a fortune on this console. But I don't know. It's whether Capcom or whoever does, is it Capcom that does Kingdom Hearts? I think so.
I believe. I don't know.
Because they do Final Fantasy, and they basically, I don't know. Somebody was trying to explain it to me.
No, they don't do Final Fantasy. Square Enix does Final
Square
Fantasy.
Enix. Okay, then Square Enix is who does Kingdom Hearts.
Yeah.
Maybe somebody I don't know. Basically, there was something that with Kingdom Hearts and Final Fantasy, and like if one game wasn't super popular, they had no interest in doing Kingdom Hearts, or if Kingdom Hearts like 1.5 HD isn't super popular, they have no interest in going back to another game. I mean, I can't be quoted on it because I just don't remember exactly what somebody was telling me about it. But that would be cool. I would be, I'm not going to say that's one of my predictions. Like I said, I predict Little Big Planet 3. I'll be psyched if they announce Uncharted 4, but like it won't be, there's no way it could possibly be ready by holiday 2013.
No, there will be if they do, I feel it would just be not in-game footage. It would just be something put together.
Yeah, like pre-rendered scenes
and just stuff like that. Or him, I could just see Drake coming up on the screen and just being like, "Hey, we're back," or something like that. Something
like
quirky, but yeah.
The screen goes dark and you just hear the dun dun dun,
Yeah,
dun, and everyone's like, "Oh my god, yeah, it's
dun, dun, dun,
exactly."
And then they're like, "Last of Us 2," and then they just drop the mic and leave.
Yeah. As far as other game predictions, I really don't. I mean, there are so many games I would love to see sequels
Yeah.
to, but I am hoping for a lot more stuff for the Vita than I am for the PS4. I'm hoping for a PS4 Vita bundle. I'm hoping for a lot more information regarding, and I think they'll give it to us. I think they will tell us what's going to happen with the PS Vita and the PS4 because they've basically alluded to the fact that the PS Vita will play PS4 games via remote play. My concern is, does that mean I have to have the PS4 and own the game for remote play to work? Or if the Vita can remote play PS4 games, do I need a PS4 right away? You know? Or is
Yeah.
the Vita just becoming an extension of the PS4?
Well, they already said
So,
that they're making games so that you can control it with the Vita.
yeah.
So that's nice.
Do you have to own the game and it's like running off your PS4 and just feeding it back to you on your
Yeah,
Vita?
just
I
feed
mean,
it to your Vita.
so we'll see.
Yeah.
That would be cool. But I mean, it's one of those things where like, everything is awesome until I hear the price because
Yeah.
I don't have a lot of money to spend on these consoles. So if they are like PS4 is $1,000, I'd be like, nope.
Nah, that won't happen.
Nope. Even if they say it's 500, I'd be like, I'm just gonna have to wait.
Yeah.
If they
Well,
release
we'll
a
get in.
Slim, ugh.
Yeah. Well, all right. Yeah, we'll get into the console itself, but
Okay.
I'll I guess I'll go towards the other side and start and talk about Xbox. But
Boo. No.
no, I don't mind them. But we with Xbox, they said we have. I think it's at the Xbox One reveal. They said we have, what is it, 7 games that you already know about or something like that, and like 8 new franchises or 8 new IPs.
Right.
And so we'll see those IPs and we may be even able to play them. But the problem is they're not good. There may be one of two. We'll see. I would like to see another Halo, just something like a number 5 coming up. And they're like, yeah, we are, or just telling us, hey, another Halo is coming out. We are making this. We don't have anything. We're just starting. We're just done with Halo 4. We're just starting Halo 5, but it is in production. This and that. We won't see. I don't think we'll see anything about Gears. I mean, Judgment just came out in March, so. And the rest of those IPs, we've already seen Forza. We already saw Call of Duty Ghosts. So they'll bring up Call of Duty Ghosts again and reiterate on it. And
Call of Duty.
Yeah, exactly.
The game's gonna be good. You shoot stuff. Oh my god. You blow up ships.
Yeah, and you have a dog partner.
Yeah, and you have a dog.
Do not forget the dog. I swear to
instead
God.
Instead of like Black Ops 1 where you knife dogs that knock you over, this time you are the dog.
Yeah, you could. I don't know, but they'll reiterate on that, and then we'll also see. And the rest of those new IPs will just be these small indie games, and nothing wrong with indie games, but these smaller games that really nobody wants to play other than gamers themselves.
Right.
Because when people look at the Xbox One, they're like, all right, cool, Forza Motorsport, and I just lost my train of thought for some reason. Because we already saw Forza.
Yeah, I mean Xbox has already kind of played their cards.
Yeah, they've already said that's okay. What else? What else do you? All right, maybe a new Fable. Maybe that'd be cool. I mean, but they just announced that there's a Fable anniversary coming out. So, are they working on that and just gonna show that at E3? That I can see them showing the Fable anniversary at E3.
Right.
But a new one, I don't know. So the rest are just going to be these small games that aren't going to get as much attention. But which is sad, but that's all they have. They don't have as many exclusives as Sony with PlayStation.
I don't even know if it's the fact that they don't have exclusives. They only want to show the games that statistically do well.
Well,
because Microsoft, I mean, from where I sit, my perspective, excuse me, Microsoft has to play a really, really, really conservative game right now because they've
Mhm.
already, I mean, they've already annoyed the majority of their um, potential customers, potential
Right.
renew buyers of 360 with all of the issues that are plaguing the reveal of the Xbox One console to begin with. So they're going to only want to release games that they know people will be like, ooh, I hate the Xbox One, but I got to play Call of Duty, man. I got to have it because, the rationale is all my friends are going to have it and then I can't play with them. So I got to get an Xbox One. And I mean, my thing with Forza is that I was never really that
I don't.
like
Yeah, I
I
have
just
no.
wasn't super impressed with it. And Gran Turismo is a fantastic game, but even that is a game that can't hold my attention for like very
Yeah,
long
we're
periods of
not
time.
racing fans. The only racing game that I played and I'm addicted to, and play to this day,
Mario
is
Kart,
no. I actually don't like Mario Kart. Don't kill me.
sad face.
Uh, um, is Need for Speed Most Wanted, the new one that was
Mm,
made by Criterion. That game is so good in my opinion. I think it's one of the best free roam games.
interesting. I've
I love it.
I've played Need for Speed. I've never played Most Wanted, but
But I beat it, and that's like the second Need for Speed game I beat.
mm,
The first one was Need for Speed Most Wanted on the Game Boy Advance. There's a classic for you.
yeah,
So, you know, I just I whatever Xbox wants to do, their Xbox or their Microsoft, they'll do what they want to do, and they will win the market over, and people will buy their console, and they will make money. That is exactly what happens. Same with Sony. It's just people want new things.
right.
But I guess we can shift into the Xbox itself and the PS4 itself if you want.
Okay, just in terms of like what the console is
Yeah,
going to
yeah,
have and do.
yeah.
Um, well, I mean, as far as basics go, I want to see what the PS4 looks like.
Oh yeah,
You
and that's
know,
the thing.
that's
They will show the box and they'll reveal
yeah,
the
they have
price.
to it. So we'll get the price, we'll get the features of the yeah, like the actual physical box
Hmm.
itself. Um, I would love to hear about the bundles that will be being released because there's always buy the console on its own or buy the console with this game or these two games.
I don't think
So
there's a launch bundle though, is there?
well,
Like
that's the
what's there
thing.
with
I
PS3?
assume I assume they will. I assume they will
Oh
have one.
yeah.
That's my prediction. My prediction is they'll say you can buy the console on its own. It comes with the new PSI because that's a part of the DualShock 4.
Yeah.
Um, but they, in my opinion, I think they really should just release a console that comes with games. And once Xbox says how much the console is going to be, they need to make that bundle whatever the price of the console only version is of the Xbox One. So
Yeah.
like if they say the Xbox One is going to be like $499, then the Sony needs to be like, okay, we're going to have a bundle of a game and two, the console and two games, and it's going to be $499. Like we're gonna match it. Just go aggressive.
Hmm.
Um, at least that's. I mean, obviously the cost of all of these things probably comes into play, but if you want to really make Microsoft look bad, you'd have to just hit them where it hurts and just make the price of the console really competitive. But
Yeah.
I'll be curious to see what options we get in terms of how like the home screen looks, like the XMB if
The
they
XMB
change it.
itself. Yeah.
Yeah. In what kind of customization we'll get, because right now you don't get a whole lot of customization.
Right.
Yeah, I know people have modified their Xboxes so that they can like change the icons and stuff, but like I'm not smart enough to do that. I just want Sony to give me the option to change it.
Yeah.
Um, the Ustream features will be hopefully explained in greater detail, only
Hmm.
because for people like me who have an Elgato and have a Twitch account, anybody who has like a Hoppage, whatever,
Right.
PVR, like
How pod?
anybody who already has streaming equipment, the Ustream could be a pro and it could be a con. If the
Hmm.
Ustream thing is severely restricted in how you can modify it, like if you can put a little banner saying what your website is so people can go check out your website, if you can't do that on the PlayStation version of streaming, like I'm just not going to use it. I won't be appealed by it at all.
Hmm.
If I can, all it does is make my Elgato useless and kind of annoys me. Um,
Hmm.
but at the same time, you know, if I can uh, streamline that type of whatever the term is for that use, like the functionality
Right,
of
right,
being able
right.
to stream games online way easier without extra devices and needing my laptop, like that would be great.
Yeah.
But I come from the train of thought where if you have a system that can do everything, it can't do everything amazing. It can do
Hmm.
everything good and some things well, but it can't do everything amazing. So it
Yeah.
becomes a jack of all trades, master of none, which is what I think the Xbox One will be. It does way too many things to do all of them great,
Hmm.
you know?
And
But the PS3 is really great at playing games because that's relatively all it can do. It can stream movies and play Blu-rays, but like it's a game console at heart, and the
hmm
PS4 is just continuing that trend with, they add a little bit of stuff to it.
hmm
So,
but all right. So I guess all right. So with PlayStation here, they'll pull back the cover on the console itself. They'll say this is what it looks like, and they'll pull off the sheet, and it's going to be a box that's black and shiny, and people are going to go ooh and ah, and it's going to look pretty, it's going to look nice, but they're going to let people marvel over that for a couple minutes, and they're going to talk about it for a couple minutes, and they're just going to stop talking about it and just go to games again, because that's what they want. They want people to play this console. It's a gaming console. That's why they want to focus on games. They're gonna be like, all right, they'll talk maybe 20 minutes more about the software, the console, and then they'll go, okay, here's more games that we didn't show you at the PlayStation reveal. And that's personally what I want. I don't want to hear about Xbox Live TV. I don't want to hear about internet and DRM and all this. I want to hear about games. This is a
oh,
gaming console.
I want to hear about the DRM. I want to know what the situation is on that. Like
Mm-hmm.
like for Microsoft, they need to elaborate on what happens with that.
Oh,
And Sony needs to reassure everybody that they're not doing those
yeah.
types of things. Or if they are, explain what the situation is because we don't know I don't know enough about all of this used game always on. And I mean obviously we talked earlier, like
Mm-hmm.
I wrote the opinion piece on the always on thing because being always connected to the internet doesn't bother me. It's the fact that while I'm always connected, that Xbox Connect thing is listening to us. It's listening to you in your house, talking to people, and
Well,
it's that data's
that's
going somewhere.
they said it will not do that in a new article the IGN put up. They talked with them, and it will not. It will only if you enable it or something like that. It will not just do it when it's off.
Yeah, which I still don't I still
But
don't like the idea of it. Like the
yeah,
PSI could very well do a similar thing, and
yeah,
they just haven't been asked those questions or have basically said like, no, it only works when the games are on, like because that's the way it should be. Like I don't, if I'm playing a game on my PS4 or my Xbox or whatever console it is, I need to use the controller. So I will use the controller to turn the thing on. I'm not
right,
just gonna say like PS4 on, like I'm gonna turn it on with the controller, like because I
yeah.
need the
I always
controller to
do.
play the game. Um, it's I don't know, it's a tough situation, but I would love and I hope that they will clarify all of those issues.
Hmm.
Because even used games on the PS4, like I know they've said that they're not going to do any sort of disk rights management, but who knows? I mean, EA said that they're not going to charge for online passes anymore. But what is the
Because
backside of that? What's their angle on that? Is that
they're
because
just going to be selling new games. They're not going to be going for that used market.
right?
They
So
want people to buy new games. They want to make money. Unlike, and sure, I support used games, but I also support developers. And whenever I can, if I have the money, I will always buy a new game just to
right,
support the developers. But let's say I walk in a GameStop and I've got $30 and a game that's new 50 but 30 used. That's all I've got, and I want that game. Of course, I'm going to buy it used. It's just the buyer's mind. It's the mindset that we have. We just want to buy things cheaper. And
most of us don't necessarily have the available funds to constantly be buying these games.
right. And so I do it and I always try to support these new developers, but for them to say, "Hey, you may not be able to do that anymore for some of these games because developers can say they can take away. They can be like, this new game, you cannot buy it used. We will make it so you cannot buy it used. The Xbox One will allow used games, but developers themselves can say you don't, we don't want you
Right.
buying this used, so we'll make it so you can't.
Yeah, I
So,
mean,
and that's to me, I'm like, all right, well, that's kind of ridiculous, but okay, I see where they're
well,
coming from,
yeah,
the
it's like
business standpoint.
you put that used game in, and it goes, "Huh, we've detected that this game's been played on another console. You have to pay $10." Like I'd be like, "What? What?" You know?
Yeah,
Um,
and the so getting they'll be they'll come in and say this is it, they'll specify this is not, we are not trying to do this, we are doing this, this, and this. Do not expect you know and with PlayStation 4, I guarantee you you'll be able to play used games, but again, there will be a hassle with used games.
right.
And I think it's just going to be, that's just how it's going to be, and we just need to deal with it. Oh, I sounded like Adam Worth. Oh my god.
Who's Adam Worth?
Or is it Adam Worth? What's the guy's name from Microsoft who said deal with it?
Oh, that guy. No, I don't remember what his name is. I remember seeing that article though.
I just sounded like him. I apologize.
Yeah, I
um,
mean, there's a part of it where we just have to accept whatever they give us because we don't run these companies. Like, we don't have a say because we are just the purchasers of it. And
yeah,
clearly, we already know that there are major companies who will make decisions based on whatever they feel like even if they know people aren't going to like it. So,
yeah.
um,
And they
when
don't care. They're gonna make money. That's
yeah,
all.
there's always going to be people who just buy it regardless. When the iPhone first came out, it was what, only on AT&T? So
Mm-hmm.
even if you hated AT&T and T and you really wanted an iPhone, you had to get it. I mean, I remember when iPhone finally came to Verizon, like that was a big deal.
Yeah,
Because it's like, "Oh my God, now we have two choices," unless you I mean, I guess you could jailbreak your phone and then use it on any network you want, but now you've basically rendered the warranty useless on a really expensive product. And
right.
at this point, it's like I'm not going to spend time like jailbreaking or whatever an Xbox so that I can play used games.
Yeah,
Because the second it checks that you're online, it's just going to shut your console down like they already do with Xbox 360s.
yeah,
My problem with that is the fact that they don't ever revoke the bans. If you get
yeah,
your console banned, like there's no way around it. And when these consoles start getting $400 and $500 a piece, especially on like a brand new console, if somebody has bad internet and their console gets banned because of it, like because they can't connect or the connection like gets broken in the middle and Xbox thinks they're screwing around, like that is a huge problem. It's just
yeah,
it's not as huge of a problem as everybody makes it because the vast majority of users has a consistent internet connection. It's just
yeah.
Microsoft basically saying we don't care about people who don't have good internet.
hmm And but moving away from that, we'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see. PlayStation's gonna go. I think they'll say, all right, please, it's gonna be $3.99 at launch. I think that's a reasonable price for a piece of tech like that. Maybe $4.99. Yeah, I hope.
Yeah, for like the bigger hard drive option or
Yeah,
something.
but that doesn't bother me. I'm gonna buy it day one anyway. I am planning on buying it day one. I have my money saved up. This is what I'm spending it on. That's what I'm putting my heart to, and I'm buying the PS4 day one. Xbox One, I think it's gonna be a little more pricey. Again, Microsoft is money hungry, and if you tell me, and if people try to tell me they're not money hungry, that's a big joke because they definitely are.
Right.
You have to pay to use Xbox Live every month or buy it for $60 a year. That's ridiculous in my opinion. I think
Yeah.
that's a scam, and I don't, sure I do it, but it's just to me. There's no point. PlayStation, they're like, here, buy our console, buy the games, have fun. Don't do anything else. We're not going to restrict you.
Right.
And with Xbox, they're like, all right, you got to pay for this. Oh, you want to use Xbox Music? You have to pay for that. You want to use Xbox Live TV? You're gonna have to pay for that.
Well, my only thing with that is like Sony has the Music Unlimited, which is a service that you have to pay for. So Xbox Music is just like all these extra services.
Yeah,
Having
they
to
have
pay for
so
them
many
is
of them.
Yeah, but you don't have to. Those aren't why you bought the console. So I won't even
Right.
get into like I don't even care about those. Like if I had to pay for those, I'd be like, cool. I'm just not gonna have it. Like
Hmm.
I'd love to have Netflix, but I really don't have $10 a month to spend on it. And people are like, oh, that's only $120 a year, and it's like, yeah, but gas is like $60 a tank, and I have to fill that up more
Yeah.
than once a year.
Exactly.
Um, my issue is the fact that Xbox Live having to pay for it. Like some people are just dumb and they pay by month, and it is a ripoff if you pay like seven
I
dollars
do
every
that.
month. Like if you go to Amazon, you go to Newegg, you go to you
I
know
pay by month. Yeah.
wherever, you can buy the month cards for like $35. Like basically what I do is I check every few months because my brother he's got an Xbox and he's got Live, and I check every few months, and if I see Xbox Live Gold cards for like $30, I buy two of them, and then 2 years for the price of one. And so he's about to finish up his year, and he still has a backup card from the last time I did that.
Yeah.
But that requires you to be paying attention. And a kid who his parents bought him an Xbox, they're probably thinking it's way easier for me to just throw my credit card on the system and forget about it than investigate every so often to buy a card. So I don't know. I mean, I assume that the same kind of situation will happen
Hmm.
with the Xbox One. Except if they're
Yeah.
expecting you to be always connected, they may not even offer Xbox Live cards anymore because they'll be like, "Why? You just get it off the internet." But that becomes an issue of whether you want to have your credit card on the console or not. And I would not like my credit card attached to the console.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, I think we'll wrap up this segment and we'll go into to talking about games that we've been playing and what we think, and then we'll end the podcast.
Cool.
All right. Sounds
You
good.
you go first this time because I feel like I went first.
All right. Um. So I have been playing, and I'm going to review it. Uh, Call of Juarez Gunslinger. It's the third game in the series. There was Call of Juarez. I don't remember how it was. This is totally different.
Hmm.
It's $15 on XBLA, or is it? Yeah, it's $15 on PlayStation Store, and I think it's on. Yeah, it's on XBLA, and it's worth it because um, we I'm looking at Twitter too. Um, it's just like the combat is so fun. It's like Borderlands meets um it's like Borderlands meets a first. I don't know how to explain it. It's just it's a beautiful artistically made game, and it looks nice. It's got this cartoony feel, but yet at the same time, it's got this serious, down to earth Western style shootout in the middle of the street Hollywood feel.
So
And
like
so,
Borderlands meets Red Dead Redemption, kind of.
yes, thank you, exactly. And the narration is the way that they set up the game is so cool. You your character oh my god, what is his name? Um, and he it, oh my god, I'm losing train of thought. I'm typing everywhere. I'm typing on Twitter and this and that. Um, no, all right, here we go. Take two. And it's really cool because the the point system that you get, like there's a whole level up. There's a skill tree. Um, there's these three skill tiers that are set up in revolver shape, which is pretty cool. Seeing how it's the old west kind of feel, and it, you level up by getting different, like when you shoot two enemies within a certain amount of time, you'll get double the points because it's in a certain amount of time. If you keep shooting people within that time limit, that points will keep doubling. So let's say you'll see times three, times four, times five, times six every time you kill somebody within this time span. So and it's addictive. It's the combat is so addicting and it's so much fun, and the narration is good because your character, as I'm looking up his name right now, your character, it's narrated from him in a first person view. Obviously, it's first person shooter, and losing train of thought again as I'm trying to look up his name. Uh, oh my god, what is his name? I got it right here. Hold on. That way I can go. What's his name? What's his name? Um. Greaves. Yes. What is it? Greaves. We'll just call him Greaves. So
Sure.
it's narrated by Greaves, who you are, and you. He comes into a bar. It starts at the beginning of the game. He sits down at a bar, and people are like, "Oh my god!" He's like, "My name is Greaves," and they're like, "Oh my god, you mean the Greaves? The bounty hunter?" And he's like, "Yeah." And so he sits down, and they buy him a drink, and he starts talking about his stories of the Wild West and these shootouts and all these, and riding with Billy the Kid, and and so you play his stories. So he'll be
Okay.
telling
Yep.
something. So he'll be telling a story. It'll be like, so I was riding with Billy the Kid, and we got caught in an ambush. And you'll be playing the ambush, and you're halfway through the ambush, and somebody goes, "Wait a minute, I heard that this happened," and all of a sudden the game rewinds back to when you're on the horse with Billy the Kid, and you're like, "Yes, that's exactly what happened. Did I say something else?"
Hmm.
And so they'll point out lies or something, and this and that, and it's really cool. It's a really cool setup. Where the game flaws, though, is the load times are so long. It's taken 2 minutes sometimes of just load screens, and I'll sit there and I'll see the loading thing, and I'm like, great. And so I'll get on my phone and just start doing something else, and then I look up, and it doesn't start the game automatically once the load scene is done. You have to press start once the load is done to start playing.
Right.
So I'd be sitting there for 15 minutes going, when is this thing gonna load? Oh, it says press start.
Hmm.
Okay. And that's one thing that gets me. And another thing is the AI isn't too great. There's some problems where I've walked up and they've been sitting behind a corner, and then I just shoot them as if they didn't notice me, it's kind of weird, but it's a little buggy, not too bad, but it's a really fun game, and the story is good, but there's no really, it's just pop and shoot, cover shooting, and shooting and more action, and it's a kick-ass game that I have a lot of fun with.
Right.
But
There's
that's
nothing wrong with that. For
yeah,
$15.
yeah, that's what I've been playing. That's what I've been playing without the voice cracking. That's what I've been playing. What have you been playing?
What have I been playing? Well, because PS Plus, I have a handful of free games. So
Yeah, get it if you
when
don't have it.
yeah, as I say, get it if you don't have it, because for the $50 for the year, you will
It's totally worth it.
yeah, you end up with
You
free
get
games.
hundreds of dollars worth of games.
And
For
if you have a PS3 and a Vita, it's way worth it.
Yeah.
But because of PS Plus, the game that I have been playing with like a lot of attention to actually completing the game is Sleeping Dogs.
I platinumed that. That was so
Yeah,
fun.
I don't even know where I am in trophies, because that's like, if I get trophies, great. If I go through the trophy list and I'm like, oh, that's a pretty easy one, I can knock that off the list, I'll do it. But like, I don't. Depending on how, like, once I've beaten the game and I look at how close I am to platinuming, I'll go back and finish it if I'm like, I could probably do that. So I've been playing a lot of Sleeping Dogs. I've got my Vita, so I've been playing a lot of Jetpack Joyride, because honestly, I use my Vita for not a whole lot of actual gaming, because I've beaten pretty much all the games. Yeah, I mean, I've beaten all the games that I have. So Uncharted, Gravity Rush. I mean, I had those before they were free on PS Plus.
Yeah.
I have Wipeout, which is also, I don't know if it's still free on PS Plus, but it was.
I don't think so.
I have Dynasty Warriors. I have Unit 13, and so Dynasty Warriors is a game that I love. I've loved the series since PS2, so I have a few of them. But but as far as like playing it often, like with intent to finish the game, not so much. But Sleeping Dogs, I've recently downloaded Deus Ex, and I played the game for like maybe 40 minutes, and I had to stop. I couldn't like couldn't do it. I could
Yeah,
not get
people
past the
either like that
controls.
game or don't.
Yeah, and like I had a friend give me crap about it, and I was just like, I can't deal with clicking to zoom and
Hmm.
clicking to cover and things like that. Like I just like to click to duck. I don't know. It's just not. There's nothing natural about that type of motion. When you if you think about like a first person shooter game, when you hold L1 to like pull the gun to your
Hmm.
whatever and look down the iron sights, like that's it's not the natural way that you would do it with an actual weapon, because like you're
Hmm.
not, but like that's your trigger finger that you're using to
Yeah,
like look at it. And if you're 90% of people are right-handed, I'm not, I'm left-handed,
I'm
so
left-handed also. Yeah.
pulling the right trigger is like shooting the gun. Like those are natural things. Pressing B to crouch isn't necessarily the most natural way of like using your hand on the controller, but like for whatever reason, if it's like a click in and out to zoom, I just can't do it.
See, I don't have a problem with that. Like, I don't mind it. I'll get used to the controls.
I could not get used to it. So, but I kept playing. I played for like
Yeah.
a little while, and just to keep going through the game and get a little bit more of the story. And it seems like it's a really interesting story, but like not being able to change the controls it frustrated me to the point where I was just like, if I keep playing, I'm just not going to accomplish anything, because I'm going to keep dealing with the same issues while trying to use the controls. And that, people will just say, well, that means you're not adaptable. And it's like, okay, fine, I'm not adaptable. It's like, I'm not going to argue with it. I don't have to play this game, so I'm just not going to.
Yeah. Um, and oh, I forgot to add in. I picked up Dark Sector. I don't know if you've heard of it.
That sounds familiar.
For like $3 at GameStop, and it's pretty
Hmm.
cool. I'd recommend getting it if you want a fun game. It's pretty fun. So,
Yeah.
um, but um, so let's see. I think that's it. That's all we got.
Yeah.
But thank you for joining us. I hope you enjoyed it. Like I said, we went off on tangents sometimes, but that's okay. We got to what we wanted to talk about.
Yep.
Talked about games. Please, please, read our site and Andrew's site, short and sweet reviews.co, and Andrew, it's just radioplaystation.com.
.com. Yep.
Okay.
Radio PlayStation. RadioPS.net will also bring you to it.
Yeah.
So, but
Okay.
yeah, we're PlayStation news community. You guys do a lot more than just PlayStation, but so
Yeah.
don't sell yourself short.
Uh,
Or sweet, get it? Oh,
oh
puns,
no. Okay.
puns.
So, let's see. You can follow myself on Twitter. You can follow me on Twitter at Agent Abelov. You can follow Andrew on Twitter at So After I Said.
Yep, that's
You
correct.
can follow Short and Sweet at S_S_reviews. And PlayStation is at It's Radio
It's Radio
PS.
PS. Yep.
So go ahead and follow them. And we are out. Peace.
See ya.